Anybody else think it's funny that the next Universes Beyond set comes straight from the sewer? Hey there, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you about Magic the Gathering and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the fact that, yeah, Magic the Gathering and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is now something you can put together in a sentence and say, hey, those have something in common. By now, you've probably heard that the next Universes Beyond set, releasing in March of next year, is indeed a TMNT set. And before I go any further with this video, I would just like to point out as a fun fact that we now officially have more Magic the Gathering sets taking place in New York City than we do taking place in certain Magic the Gathering worlds. Just thought I'd put that out there for you. A little fun fact of the day. Great job, Wizards. Love to see it. Anyway, well, I'm not going to break down all of the announcements for the set currently. I did pick out a few things to talk about in today's video, a few things that I noted of being worth, in my opinion, talking about. So I'm not going to break down any of the cards we saw or anything like that, but I am going to give my first impressions. And I do want to say that, at the very least, the theme branding of the packaging for the products we've seen so far has been very on brand for the Turtles, as opposed to what we saw with Final Fantasy and Spider-Man, where the packaging didn't really seem to reflect those franchises as a whole. The TMNT kind of like green, orange, yellow colors really does resonate with that franchise well, so I do appreciate how Wizards of the Coast designed the packaging. I also want to say that I appreciate that it does look like Wizards is giving focus to multiple different eras of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that is a mouthful, franchise, because there are several different incarnations of the team, and it does look like Wizards is going to give at least some love to different versions of the characters. And that's about where my nice first impressions end, so let's move on. First things first about the set that I thought was pretty interesting, worth talking about, is they are dragging Kevin Eastman into this project. He is going to be providing original new art for each of the Turtles that you can only get in collector booster packs, and it's a nice little piece of art inspired by the original comics. And it's going, each of these cards featuring this new art is going to have his little artist signature in gold print on the card, which is pretty nice, you know, especially if you're a huge Ninja Turtles fan and you just want some nice bit of collectible with the OG's signature. That, I think, is a nice little it's a nice little thing to add to your collection, and I'm sure some Ninja Turtles fans are going to really enjoy that. The next thing I want to talk about is two products in the lineup for the Ninja Turtles set. And no, it's not the collector boosters. Those are already sold out on Amazon. No, first I want to talk about the Draft Night box. And this is a very interesting product to me because this product is something that I've thought for a while would be very beneficial to game stores. I haven't talked about, I wanted to make a video a while ago about things individual companies could do, in my opinion, to help out local game stores. And an idea I had was some sort of like tournament box for Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon, where they could design like a built-in tournament so that stores don't have to dedicate any resources to it. The players could just pay for the box and have a little in-house draft or sealed event. And this does look like it's something like that. This is going to be a 4-man draft experience, 12 packs, plus a collector booster pack, some lands and tokens. It doesn't have the most agreeable price tag, in my opinion. It's like $110 or $120 or something for that, and that seems a bit overpriced in my opinion. But I do like the idea that Wizards is at least trying new kinds of products and new ways of maybe getting friend groups engaged with the hobby. I've said it before that I always like experimental new ways to get new players on board in the hobby. And maybe, just maybe, a draft box like this, a draft night box, where you can get 4 guys together. They can all pay in for the box, get their draft in, and then the winner gets to keep the collector pack. I like that idea in concept. I'm not sure how well it'll be executed or how popular it'll be, but I like the idea a lot in concept. The other item I want to talk about is one that I was fairly sure we'd never see again in Magic the Gathering. You see, a few years ago, a long time ago actually now, like 10 plus years ago, during pre-release events for the Theros block, that's Theros, Born of the Gods, and Journey into Nyx, those 3 sets, each of the pre-release events for those sets had a PvE deck that you would face off against. There was the Minotaur Horde, there was the Hydra, or no, it was the Hydra, then the Minotaur Horde, and then Defeat a God, where you fought off against Xenagos. And you would take your pre-release deck that you built for the event, and you would face off against those decks for additional prizes at the pre-release event. It depended on the store, really. But it was a cool little thing that Wizards of the Coast did, and in my opinion, it was one of the most original and kind of unique and enjoyable things they've ever done, especially from like a flavor perspective. Mechanically, the decks were unique, and flavorfully, you were following the main character of the Theros block, Elspeth. You were following her journey through the 3 sets and facing off against the same kind of enemies she was facing. So I thought that was really neat, but, you know, they weren't really received that well, and not a lot of people engaged with them. And I thought that Wizards had moved on from that kind of design, but I guess I was wrong, because one of the products coming out for the TMNT set is called Team Up. And get this, there's 4 theme decks in the product that a group of players can choose from. And then there's an enemy deck that apparently plays itself against them. And that sounds an awful lot like those old Theros decks, and I immediately caught on to that, and I thought, holy crap, that's kind of neat. I'm glad to see that. Welcome back, Theros PvE decks. I'm glad you're doing good. Glad that you're back in the game. So really, honestly, those 2 products alone, I think, are worth highlighting, just because, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it as many times as I have to, but new and creative products, I think, are where Magic really shines. And instead of, you know, focusing so much on trying to extract as much money out of the player base as possible, Wizards of the Coast does best, in my opinion, when they're trying to craft new play experiences for the players, rather than trying to squeeze every single penny out of them. The final item I want to talk about today is the Commander deck for the set. Deck singular. That's right. This is pretty interesting, pretty worth talking about, in my opinion, because there is only one Commander deck for the Ninja Turtles set. And that tells me one thing and one thing only. It means that the diminishing returns for Commander product have become apparent to Wizards of the Coast, and they are starting to dial back on that product line, because honestly, at the end of the day, there's only so much room for Commander products to grow and be appreciated by the general populace, the general player base. Populace. I said populace there. That's a stupid word. I'm going to Google that. I don't think it's even a real word. Anyway. Yeah, there's only one Commander deck for the set. And while that's interesting, and while I'm always glad to see that there's fewer Commander products out there, because Commander really should not be Wizards' focus, it does tell me that behind the scenes, Wizards is aware of the fact that just plopping out 4 to 5 Commander decks per set is not sustainable and not good for the game. Or at least that's what I'm taking away from it. I could be wrong. You know, I'm not a seer. I'm not some kind of super analyst or anything like that. I'm just a guy in his garage telling you his opinions. Anyway, insofar as my opinions go, that's all I've got. Still not a fan of Universes Beyond. You guys know that. But I do think the overall design of the products, combined with the focus they seem to be giving in terms of what kind of products they're designing, aiming towards newer players rather than trying to get whales to throw as much cash at it as possible. I like that direction, and I hope that that is the direction they continue going towards, rather than endless collector style products meant only to appeal to whales. So, to summarize, draft night, good in theory. I hope it works out. Team up, I'm really excited for that. And overall, I'm not as negative towards TMNT as I am for like Spider-Man or Assassin's Creed. I'm sure it'll be a successful set. Ninja Turtles is a fairly popular franchise, and I like to remain optimistic about everything going forward, even if it's for a property I'm not particularly fond of. Universes Beyond, not TMNT. Am I overall positive on TMNT? There are the 80s, 03, 2012. I think there's like 4 cartoon iterations of the characters by now, and I think I only like 2 of them. That is a conversation I'll have to have with myself. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Comment down below if you agree with my opinions on TMNT, or if you think your uncle's crazy. Either way, I'm curious to know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.